It lights me up every time, man. And I love
What?
your office. You champion you.
Right,
You
right.
champion.
Is this chinchilla? Who knows? Feels like it. I'm just
Hey,
saying. Just
hey.
saying.
They let them keep them guessing. Keep them guessing, right? Stay
Little
mysterious, my
mystery.
friend.
Little
Good
mystery.
morning, everybody out there. Welcome to the Grow Show. Excited to be with you guys today. Man, this bold journey has been amazing this round, buddy. Speaking of an amazing round of bold, you are covering for an agent or for a coach that couldn't quite get there due to logistics, due to health, due to airlines are fascinating. And this is what we do. Reasons or results, buddy. Good for you. Go out your way on your off day and cover for another coach. So kudos to you, my friend.
I don't know what an off day is. It sounds mysterious and glorious.
With Life by Design, what do you do on Saturday, Sunday? Don't act like you don't
I
take days
know,
off.
I know. I don't want to lead false witness here. Yeah, I take them off days, baby. Recharge is definitely a big part of it. And man, Marcus, it's funny because we mentioned that on the show yesterday when we were talking about my calendar specific. And one of the things that I found and my coach found was that I wasn't planning enough breaks, and not big breaks, micro breaks. And so
Right.
my calendar was too tight. And when it's too
Mhm.
tight, pops.
Well, it's one of those two that those breaks, those micro break. One, you just decompress. All
Sure.
right. Any parent out there, I want you to think about when your little one was a toddler mode and they finally figured out how walking and how talking and really it's them finding their voice, right? And then all of a sudden they just always touching. It's stimulating, and it's all day, right?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when we set our calendar up too tight, it's just so stimulating. This bad boy up here needs time to decompress from whatever information you just fed it, right? Don't treat your calendar like a 5-day bold week, right? Bold, we always say it's like drinking from a fire hydrant. Don't set yourself up for appointments like that and think that you can always, have an optimal energy level and focused attention on who's in front of you. Take those micro breaks. I made that mistake too, buddy. I really did. When I first became a TL, stack, 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 stack. And the minute one went long, right? Rough day. So let's talk a little bit though about how we can, one, protect that energy, but also two, show up with a different energy. Kyle, whenever you go in and doing something, maybe it's something you do all the time, or maybe it's something new. When you just show up and kind of figure things out once you get there, I mean, obviously you got a talent level, you got a skill set, all the things, right? You can always come off the cuff. And yet there's also another version of that. And that's where the night before or early in the morning, you prep for the day ahead, you prep for that meeting. How do you show up differently in those two regards?
There's a famous GIF or meme, and it's from Star Wars, where it's like, it's a trap, right? The big lobster guy, Admiral Akbar. I have a natural ceiling of achievement that's fairly high. And I don't say that braggadociously because every single thing has its pros and cons.
Mhm.
With that pro, though, comes a con of sometimes I don't have to prepare. Sometimes I can get away with just winging it, just showing up. And it took a long time for me to realize that that was my Achilles heel. That was a problem that was keeping me mediocre
Mhm.
instead of great, right? It was staying good instead of moving into great. And so I've intentionally, uh, very hardly, with much effort, have worked into this idea of truly preparing for things. And I don't even mean like grandiose things like a speech or a keynote. Yes, that's important. I'm talking about things as simple as going to the gym.
Yeah.
If you give me an opportunity to be lazy, I'm taking it, guys. I'm taking it. Sweatpants, stuffed crust pizza, chef's kiss. Doing nothing, I'm all about it. So if I don't get ahead of myself and lay out my gym clothes the night before,
There it is.
even a glass, like a shaker bottle ready. I have my alarm on my phone that goes off, and then I have another alarm a couple minutes later on my Garmin that starts vibrating and goes off. So if I get it and I'm just laying in bed like that second one's like, all right, your pity party's over, it's time to go. But that prep work, man, moves
Yeah.
me into action. Like, we got to get better at preparing, I think, and that'll show up in a big way.
I love that, and I'll give a little tips and tricks that work for my mind. Okay,
Sure.
and again, your mind, we all have similarities, and yet it's finding the wins for you, buddy. I couldn't resonate more with what you just said as far as that morning routine, and for me, when I win that morning, it is just like the T-shirt and Gary says, "Win the morning, win that." I just feel so much different, and I set out the gym clothes. I also think about the route that I actually have to take in my house. I know that sounds super, super nerdy. And yet the route that I take in my house is important because if I go into our bathroom so I can brush my teeth, if I have my clothes in there, I can get ready versus coming out, turning an extra light on, maybe waking my wife up if she needs extra sleep that morning. Like I literally think about the logistics, but take it up another notch. I found that when I tracked my morning and I had planned the day before the night before, I actually showed up to the gym almost 20 minutes earlier. Same time, and yet even like these little bitty hurdles of getting the knife out and putting the spread on the rice cake and like the whole thing, even those little bitty things, you think it's 30 seconds or a minute when really it's a hurdle that if you're full energy, it takes 30 seconds, but it's 5 a.m., baby. This 30-second gauntlet, it's 4.5 minutes.
You said something so profound, and I want to make sure I bring this up, guys. Marcus said that that little preparation can add 20 minutes to his day. 20. Now we listen to that and we're like, oh, 20 minutes. 20 minutes a day for a year is 7,300 minutes. Or said another way, 121 and a half hours. Or let me break it down even further, 3 weeks of full-time employment.
Look at that. I didn't even put that together. That's great, man. You know what's even better about that though? That 3 weeks of extra whatever has nothing to do with work. And that's a-okay with me because what that means is that yeah, it's actually better that way. When I was ahead of schedule, that means I got home earlier from the gym and I was able to have breakfast with my family and be more present and not be rushed and have the chaotic and the panic morning. Yeah, rushing out the door in the morning is something that I just, man, I do not desire to have in my life, right? No matter what we're knocking out that morning, it just sets us up weirdly. I just have this different energy and different when that happens because I didn't get to check on my fam. Like that's me at optimal performances when I get my family cup full first. Um, it, I wanted to talk a little bit about this because I got some people in my life that are really doing the prep work before the day ahead. And Kyle, I'm gonna riff for a minute because you're pretty grainy on your side as far as the video. Um,
Rip
the,
away, buddy.
the TL group that I'm working with right now, we're really getting purposeful about their call sheets and what they're saying on their calls and the whole thing. So what we've done is at the end of the day, they're saying, "Hey, I've got it. I've printed out my list for tomorrow. I'm ready. Here's who I'm calling. Here's the buckets in which that I'm going to provide value. I'm already ready for tomorrow." And what that means is they do their morning routine, whether it's gym, family, a little bit of everything, right? But when they walk into the office, guys, how does your arrival to your work arena, not office, your work arena. What's the arrival like? Are you stepping in? You get a little pump up, you get a little script and role play practice, right? Maybe you have somebody that's holding you accountable to getting your energy level up, whatever it is. What's your energy like? Better yet, what are the first 3 phone calls that you already have planned? You know the names, they're right there for you to get your energy up. Because if I'm having a kind of a morning, I can call about 5 different people and say, hey, hit me, wake me up right now, like you are my business partner, Kyle. Like, bro, I am not feeling it. Just give me a little checkup from the neck up, maybe get on the grow show and get a little fire in your belly, whatever it is, what starts your day. And then right when that energy's there, because willpower is not on will call, we get it there. Who are my next 10 phone calls? What do they get to hear from me today? Right. And if you have it in place, there's nothing that has held you back. You're not saying hi to Janice at the water fountain. You're not having to do this or print out a list or figure out who to call because my goodness, you go in there and you have busy work to start your day versus productive work. your energy is going to change. And by default, your results are going to change. So, how many little bitty things could you set yourself up for to where you can gain 20 minutes of this time back, which Kyle just proved it's 3 extra weeks? How dangerous are you with 3 extra weeks where nobody else had it? Or maybe you sold 20, 30, 40 million last year. Give yourself an extra 3 weeks of productivity. That's almost a month. I mean a lot.
It's weird when we think about it like that, right? And,
Mhm.
guys, here's the thing. We can either choose to make these decisions, or we can have them running in the background dictating our destination the entire time. I would rather be the master of my fate. I would rather be the captain of the ship instead of letting the winds and the storms blow it around. And this is a busy profession and life happens. And we've got to show up regardless of that. And these little prep and tips and tricks and mindset things, we sleep on them sometimes because they seem too easy.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
so simple. That's just not enough. But guys, again, for the millionth time, I'm going to say this until it finally clicks. Life is won in the small things consistently. It is not won in these big, overarching, grandiose moments. It's the 500 Mondays that Marcus showed up every single time. How he ended his days on Tuesdays for 5 years that
Mhm.
shows up. The extra one call a day that he made for a decade.
That's it. That's it. We had his name is Steven Scott, and he's a 10-year vet in the TL role. He came running up to me. He goes, "Dude, I just set my third appointment for the day." Now, that may not sound super impressive to you. Here's why it was. He had been in bold with me all day. All right. It was 4:47 p.m. when he came running up to me, and he said, "Man, I just sat there. It was 4:30. I was in my office and I was looking at it. I was like, definitely, I got 30 more minutes of work technically. I've already set my 2 appointments for the day. Like, the box, you know what? I'm in bold. Like, let's go." And he made one more call. $12 million producer, right? Like, just one more. Ed Milet, this all day long. Just one more. Just one more. And yet, you don't always have to show up at the tail end of the day if you've prep worked and made the beginning of the day so efficient, right? So it's all about that mindset and your approach to it.
You know how much easier it is to make that one more call, that one more text, that one more reach out when you have a list?
Mm. What?
Like, yeah, guys, we're not Clark Kent. I mean, Marcus does have the body of Superman. We get that big old
Why, thank
fella
you.
there. But his willpower goes down throughout the day. His energy level goes down throughout the day. His mood can go down throughout the day. And talking yourself into one more call when it's already in the chamber ready to be fired is so much easier than having to sit there and be like, all right, well, fine, I will make one more. Who am I going to make? Well, let me go dig through my database. Let me have some call bias. I don't want to call this person. And next thing you know, 10 minutes go by and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to make this call anyway.
I did a little math. Let's see how I did. All right. Because you did a great job of explaining 20 extra minutes. Here's one extra call per day. Here's one extra call. And what I did was I did 48 weeks times 5 days. Because we're going to take some time off, ladies
Sure.
and gentlemen. So 48 weeks, 5 days. That's 240 calls. All right. It sounds overwhelming. And yet remember, it's just one per day. That's it. On your way home, one more call. Right before you leave the office, one more call. Whatever it is. 240 calls. Let's say you have a 50% answer rate. Just 50% answer. Cool. Out of that 50%, then I went 20% on the appointments, just sitting down, a Zoom, getting together, opportunity. And then I went even more granular and I said, all right, so 24 times another 20%. So I sit down with 24 people and I'm just saying 20% say, yeah, I want to do something in real estate. One extra call per day over that period of time, just one, leads to 5 extra deals per year. One extra call.
Ooh.
The sound effect says it all. One extra call could lead with these close rates at 5 extra deals. And I don't think these are tough close rates. Like 50% of the time they'll answer the phone. 20% of your total volume, they're actually willing to have a Zoom or connect or sit down and talk real estate, right? And only 20% close rate for somebody that actually wants to move forward over the next year. Guys, y'all are better. Y'all are better closers than me in my example, and yet still 5 extra deals. Okay, 5 extra deals times let's say we're making 10 grand a pop. That's $50,000 for one extra call per day. Kyle, I gotta go. I gotta make a phone call real quick.
Yeah, for real, right? I mean, that's the thing, dude. It's these little things over time that add up. It's the compound effect: weight loss, finances, business, personal relationships. The Gottman Institute even talks about this, man. 5-to-1 ratio on positive relationships versus negative relationships, ones that last versus ones that don't. It's those little extras over time that lead to the results you're looking for. And if we don't take the time to slow down,
Yeah,
prep, get an idea of what we want to accomplish, and even better, why we want to accomplish it, and have it easy there for us, we're going to miss the mark, man. And I trust that the fact that people are here this morning, that they tune in, that they are carrying a real estate license, says that they don't want to miss the mark, that they do want the life by design. But it's won or lost in these little things we're overlooking.
I will remind everybody what I mentioned earlier. 10 to 15 minutes total of prep work literally set up a completely different day for me.
Yeah.
Hey, if you found yourself in the last month saying, I'm just so busy, I would like for you to replace busy with unorganized or not prepared.
Ooh.
No. I'm not saying that you are unorganized or not prepared. What I'm asking you to do is say that instead of I'm busy, and see where your Raz and your mind takes you. What could I do this evening in just 10 to 15 minutes to prepare for this busy day that I've got tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
I set on Monday, buddy, I set 12 appointments for the week. And just and I had people knocking on my door. No, thank you. No, thank you. Right? Just keep going. And one of the agents was like, "Hey, that was kind of rude." I was like, "No, what was rude was you interrupting my lead gen. However, now I'm available to help you." Right? And you didn't set an appointment. Like I'm doing my one thing. I'm modeling what other agents and other coaches, that I'm modeling what we're looking for. With the prep work, though, with that prep work, you will show up with purpose, because a brain on purpose is much more effective than a brain on stress. If you're going and going and going and haven't prepped for this, and this is a surprise, and I didn't even know that was there because I forgot about that contract and that deadline. You would have found that out last night when you had no noise in your life and it was just you, your computer, and your thoughts on the next day. 10 minutes there could have prepped you to make that extra phone call, to not have all the drama in your email inbox and the 3 texts from the agents and the sellers and the buyers and all the people, right? You would have been proactive, and they're reacting to you. Now you're reacting to 3 different people because it's overwhelming, and you call it busy. It's not busy. It's unorganized. It's reactive, not proactive.
I love that, man. And it's like that simple switch, while it's not a positive reframe, it's something that is solvable now.
Very.
Solve busy for me. Solve busy.
It's so easy to solve busy. It's so easy. You give yourself 10 minutes every single evening to prep for the next day. I promise you the word busy will not show up tomorrow. I promise you. The word that'll show up tomorrow is productive. I kicked butt today. Oh my gosh, today was amazing. I've got momentum starting tomorrow. Give it a shot. And if you've never given it a shot, man, oh man, now you've learned something and heard something that you get to choose. Am I going to give this the fuel that it needs? Or was it great to be on the Grow Show this morning? Now I'm going to go get busy again. Either way, we're here for you, right? Sometimes you got to hear things 5, 6, 7 times. Sometimes you got to hear things 30 times, right? My wife will tell you that. And yet, it hit for somebody. Somebody's going to prep tonight. Somebody's going to prep Sunday for their week ahead. Somebody's going to lay out some clothes tonight.
Do that, man. What are like 1 to 2 tactical steps. So we've given them the idea. What you give one and I'll give one, tactical steps that they can go to prepare in maybe ways that they haven't been preparing before.
What do we do with money? There's four things we can do with money, and yet there's also a fifth one that we kind of inspect. We can spend it, invest it, donate it, or what's the fourth one?
Save it.
Save it. Perfect. Well, all of that is encompassed, and if we wanted to check in with it, we audit our money. Well, why don't we audit our time? Because time is more valuable than money. And if I'm auditing money, I use what's called the K.R.O.W method. K-R-O-N-C. What do I keep? What do I replace? What do I offset? What do I negotiate? And then what do I cut? What if you looked at your week ahead? Say it again.
That I haven't heard that in a while. It's such a good one. Such a good one.
What if we did that with the things, the meetings, the noise that is on your schedule and asking and demanding of your time? What do we need to keep? AKA, what's our success list? What do we need to replace? Because that's not truly serving my goals. Somebody just asked to be on my calendar. Or Linda asked me to take me to lunch and really? Maybe it's a hour-long Zoom that's set that can actually be 20 minutes. When people want to set meetings with me now, I'm like, cool. What 15-minute segment are you looking for? Because a lot of times people get used to a 30-minute or an hour, and they show up and they're like, hey, how's your day? Like, I'm like, when we show up for 15 minutes, hi is going to be later on at happy hour at the ALC retreat. Hi, and how's your mom and them is going to be after work when we get this done. What are we here to do? There's no more chit chat in 2025, right? And offset. What I need who could take this appointment for me? Who in my life do I have some leverage for that they can handle this and then report back the Cliff Notes? Negotiate. Maybe I just need to negotiate some things off of my plate because maybe I overcommitted to certain things. And then what I need to cut? What am I saying yes to that just stop saying yes to this? Stop it. It's not serving you. So use the K.R.O.W method on your schedule. Beat everything up that doesn't have a purposeful money-generating agenda to it.
Well, guys, I was going to give you one, but Marcus just gave you 5. And that was beautifully done. K.R.O.W, man, I'm going to have to go back and look at that. So good. Guys, write that down, K-R-O-N-C. Go back, listen to this again, see where you can apply it. Again, it's not just for money, it's for time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, obviously, as you can see, the sun has risen over the building and it's ready for bold. Guys, go have a great day today.
Go chase some lives, Coach Kyle. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Later.